Ladies and gentlemen, your man out of Japan, Jay Contra here with unpackaging, unboxing, whatever you want to call it, for a game from Mandarake. Now, what we need to look through here is the grade of everything, as well as comparing what the actual condition of this is compared to the grade. Now, Mandarake, if you're not familiar with it, is a sort of reseller of Japanese otaku goods. They're located all throughout Japan in the big cities, Tokyo, Osaka, Sapporo, Fukuoka. They are huge sticklers for the condition of games, to the point where, you know, the A grade is essentially mint, absolutely nothing. It is flawless. And to where a C grade at Mandarake is the A grade anywhere else. So let's look at the label really quick, and then we'll compare each individual grade to the item itself. So looking at the label here, we've got the disc is at a B grade, the manual is at a C grade. It does include the obi, and then we also have the notes here. Hopefully my phone can focus on this. Let's see, it says that there is great damage to the manual, the obi, and the jacket. So I'm assuming the jacket means the jewel case here. So what I also need to break down is what a complete CD-based or disc-based game looks like. For CDs that come in jewel case here, I know that this is not a CD, it's the Dreamcast, so it's probably a GD-ROM, I'm assuming. So let's take a look at the back. This is gonna be, so it's a GD-ROM, but basically anything that comes in a jewel case like this is to be considered complete, is going to come with an obi. Now, if this does not come with an obi, at Mandarake especially, that means it's going to be like at a discount. Like if you really want to save money on Japanese retro games, buy your CD games, so PlayStation, Sega Saturn, and I mean PlayStation 1 specifically. Buy it without the obi. So this was, let me get the label here. So this was this is 7,200 yen. That means about $65 at the time of recording this video. If I had been able to find a copy without the obi, and sometimes you will, sometimes you won't, this probably is worth about $10, maybe $5 for this price range. But for expensive games, like when you're talking about games that are like in the $500 plus category, these bits of paper here can be about anywhere from $50 to $100 sometimes. That can really make the difference in price. Now, it said there was great damage to this obi here. I can't even really see it. Maybe here? Is that what they're referring to? You can see some creasing here. And to some people, for me personally, I just bought this because this is the only copy that I could find. This is the cheapest copy I could find in Akihabara. If I could have found it without the obi for cheaper, yeah, I would have picked that up. Now, for some people, this is a big deal. It's not to me. It just depends on what collecting means to you. It doesn't mean you have a better copy of a game. Well, you have a more complete copy, and to some people, that means it's better. But I see absolutely nothing wrong with this personally. And maybe for you, there's some big damage here. To whoever graded this game, there was some big damage here. Maybe this, I don't know. Well, can you see that here? There's a little flaking there. Yeah, maybe that's it. So let's put that aside. Let's put that up here. So that's your big damage right there. That's what is big damage to the graders at Akihabara. Looking at the jewel case, there's some scratches here. Let me see if I can, yeah, there we go. You can see some scratches here, but it's just a jewel case. If there's actually that big of a problem, yeah, see, there's some scratching here, some scratching there. For me, this is absolutely no problem. I don't care if the jewel case is scratched. If they want to take off $5 off the value of this game just because it's got scratches on the jewel case, and if it is that big of a deal, you can replace it yourself. I think this is pretty common with Dreamcast games. This white edge here, that can maybe be difficult to find a proper replacement for. But for the things that are actually going to have problems with it, meaning this front plate here, the back plate here, you can very easily replace that. Now, let us look at the disc first, because the disc is graded at a B. What is going to cause there to be a B grade for the disc? Looking at it now, the top plate looks perfectly fine. I see there's maybe a scratch here. No, that was just something that got stuck in there. There's a little flaky thing in there. I see absolutely no problem with anything here. I see no scratches. There's something there a little bit. Flip it over. Now this is going to be the test case. Now I see absolutely no scratches. So the problem that if you're trying to actually like accurately grade a game, like this is already, just because I have it exposed to what's in this room. And in your average room, unless you've got some kind of like air filtration system, it's going to have, little bits of like, I don't even know what to describe it, but dust, particles in the air. Just by exposing this disc to my regular room, and I vacuum every week, I like to keep it clean. Exposing it to a regular room has already started. There's already bits of stuff. You can already tell that the condition has already started to, I don't know if it's degrade, but it's not perfect. When they cleaned this disc when they got it at Mandarake, it was in excellent condition. And it still is. It's not like there's any scratches on it anymore. But now you can see here, there's some particles. There's a little a little hair there. But I don't even know why this is a B grade. Like, I cannot see anything wrong with it. Like, it's maybe, you can see some little, hold on, let me see if I can, I don't know if you can even, I don't even know if this is picking up on the camera. You can see about here, there's maybe a couple small microscopic and like nanometer size scratches, but otherwise, like even to the data side of the disc, all the good part, this is where the game actually is, absolutely nothing wrong with anything there yet. This has been graded a B by Mandarake. Now, let's look at the manual. This is C. This is garbage. According to Mandarake, this is the lowest grade possible. Like, if there was a D grade, would they even sell it? If this was in worse condition, would they have even sold this? Now, let's take a look. Looking at the actual manual itself, well, for one, something that's very common, especially with a lot of my games, because I actually, took them out of the packaging, is in Japan, it's very humid. It's a tropical climate. And so whenever it rains, what will happen to a lot of my manuals is they start to get wavy like this. I don't necessarily see that happening here. The Mandarake is quite climate controlled, so it's not very humid in the store. They keep their doors closed, unlike some other retro retailers. That's a whole different story. But looking at it, like you can see there's a crease here. Someone actually opened this up and actually read it. But otherwise, like I can see some damage here. Like it's not, and when I say damage, I don't mean actual damage. I just mean wear. That's perhaps the better way to describe it, is just wear. Otherwise, look at this beautiful artwork. That's absolutely incredible. Love that. There's nothing wrong with this. Like personally, I am glad to have bought this at a cheaper price and have this C grade, because yes, it's not in perfect condition. It's not mint, but just like there's nothing wrong with this. For me, I say this in a lot of videos, and I'll keep saying it, particularly if you're new to the channel, but compare this allegedly trash game that Mandarake graded it at, compare it with the best game you have ever bought from GameStop. And there is it's several, they're like separated by several orders of magnitude. So now the way I like to store my OBs when I do have them, is I just put them in flat here. And that way you don't have to worry about it sticking out on the edge when you're storing it on your shelf or you're transporting it. I should mention that like even in this condition, like it's already survived one intercontinental trip when I brought this home. But otherwise, going back to review, that was a B graded disc that had absolutely no issues. The manual was graded C, the worst possible grade. There's no rips, there's no tears, there's just some possible wear on a couple of the pages and some dents or like folds, not even that, just from opening it up. I feel that's what causes it to be a C grade. We've got the OB, which apparently there's some big damage to the OB. I could not tell myself what they're even talking about. The jewel case does have some scratches on it. Look, it's exposed to the world. You're gonna get scratches on your jewel case at some point. And the manual apparently has some big damage. What that big damage is supposed to be, I can only guess because it's not obvious to me. This is what you can expect from Mandarake. Mandarake has by far the best condition games I've ever seen in Japan. And so when you go for the mint copy of these games, when you go for the actual A grades, you're going to be paying a premium for them. So what I would recommend you do is, if condition is not that big of a deal, condition is always going to be, there's a spectrum of condition and how it's going to matter to you as a collector. To me, look, I like to have something that looks nice. I will take a C grade Mandarake game any day of the week, as long as there's not a huge rip in the manual or the jewel case, or if there's been some kind of giant scratch on the disc. Other than that, this to me is this is the near mint game to me. That's just my perspective. And so what I'm saying is, if you want to save money on games in Japan, go to Mandarake. Mandarake is intimidating because they have very expensive games, but that's because they're in the A grade range of condition. But if you look at the C grades, you can save a lot of money and find games that are in better condition than, say, Surugaya or even Super Potato for much cheaper prices. I'm going to end it here. If you have any questions about Mandarake or collecting Japanese video games in general, please leave me a note. Please leave me a comment on this channel. Otherwise, I have been your man out of Japan, Jay Contra, saying thanks for watching, see you next time, and mahalo.